Well, hi everybody, it's your boy Ray. Today's vlog is a very special vlog. Well, one for starters is that this vlog is very, very late. I'm way past due my Monday upload, so now I'm recording this Wednesday evening. So yeah, but let's push that out of the way. It's like you never heard it or anything. But today's vlog is just basically just an announcement that, hey, guess what? Your boy Ray started his contest prep. Ooh, yeah! So I started my contest prep and this prep started last Sunday, March 29th, 2015, and I'm getting ready for 2016. And I know it's a long ways away. I decided to cut my off season early because, well, this right here, I'm rubbing my belly. This kind of got a little bit out of hand, even though like I'm not really that heavy, compared to last time, my last off season. Ugh, 3.5 months, 30 pounds. Ugh. But this was like 9 months, 21, 22 pounds. But still, like, I saw how like the bulk affected like my body, and my stomach took a big hit. My stomach took a big hit. So with that uncomfortable feeling, like that I got to eat more, continuously eat more to get bigger and stronger and stuff like that, I felt like at some point there's just going to be some sort of like threshold zone where it's like I'm not going to care about dieting down anymore. So I wanted to get rid of that really quick by just cutting down now, and I wouldn't mind just getting shredded early, or just getting really sexy, get really sexy pretty early. So I wouldn't mind that, and plus that gives me like opportunities to probably play around with nutrition to see like maybe I could look a little bit more sharper, maybe look a little bit more fuller. That's what I did with the fourth show last June, where I wanted to see if I could go into the show a little bit more fuller. So instead of coming in at like 127, I came in at like 130, 131 around there, right? In this case, since I'm cutting early, this gives me an opportunity to do a show in the fall that I've always wanted to do, but I can never handle dieting that far into the year. Like if I prep 20 weeks going into April, and then prep another 10-ish weeks going into June, that's 30 weeks right there. And to get to September, that's like another 10-ish weeks there. So that's 40 weeks of dieting. Ugh, that's hard. That's what I thought about at first in my first year, where it's like, man, I want to do this show, but at the same time, I just want to eat. I just need to eat. But with the second year, though, I was really mindful that I needed time to grow. So that's why I decided to start my off season off the bat. So. Ooh. Ugh. Needed a burp. So yeah. So my first show is going to be September 26th in Issaquah, Washington. And that is I'm reading off my script really quick, the Northwest Royal Natural Championships. And oddly enough, this show was originally a smaller natural show where there wasn't any pressure about winning a pro card. There wasn't a lot of people going into it. It's the type of show that you would do if you wanted to get your feet wet into like fitness competition. So it would be ideally the first choice that you want to go to if you wanted to step on stage for the first time. Now this show turned into a pro qualifier show. So instead of like my mindset of I wanted to maybe experiment a little bit with certain nutritions, maybe play around with this for a small period of time, or maybe train in this type of way, I gotta save all that experimentation for another time. So now I have all my training, all my diet regimen and stuff like that, they're all set, and so I gotta get super serious about this now that it's a pro qualifier. And oddly enough, like all this training for 2016 was to make my debut again at the Washington State Natural in 2016, after a long off season. But now I got a pro qualifier off the bat, and then pro qualifier next time in 2016. So, whew, some big shows happen. And it's cool because like there's a lot more shows popping up this year this year for 2015 in the state of Washington. So it'd be cool if these shows happen again next year, because I'm actually planning to do a little bit more shows for 2016. So instead of doing my traditional 2 shows, because usually I save up money for that, I've actually been saving up a little bit more money on the side to do a couple more shows, maybe like 4. And let's try for 4. So yeah, so I do have the money saved on the side. I'm not a sponsored athlete. I'm paying this out of my own pocket change, and it'd be cool to get sponsored and all, but I just feel like I'm nowhere near qualified for a sponsor, I guess. When I think of sponsorships, I think like, you're really into promoting like health and fitness and stuff like that. Like you're like a role model image. I'm a Filipino Asian nerd that still has a bad sleeping habit and plays a lot of video games. So I don't think I'm the best role model just yet. Just yet. But anyways, yeah, I'm planning for some more. I'm planning to do a bit more shows rather than the two typical ones. But the two typical ones this year, obviously, will be two pro qualifiers in September and in April. Oh, my heart is racing just thinking about it. How I'm doing my training approach this time is actually going to be a lot different than how I've been doing my training, for these past 2.5 years, ever since I got into bodybuilding and just competition in general. So I've been using Dr. Layton Norton's power hypertrophy adaptive training, ever since I started, and I fell in love with it because it was the training scheme that I've been looking for, that that had the volume, and it had the type of training schemes that I wanted to do. I wanted to lift heavy, but at the same time, I also wanted to do the bodybuilding stuff as well, because I didn't want to forget one thing and do the other. I wanted to make sure I do both, and that's where power hypertrophy adaptive training, aka FAT, like fit into the weekly schedule over a week. So 5-day training periods, half of the week or 2 days out of the week is strength training, and the other half of the week, the 3 days, is hypertrophy training. So I fell in love with that scheme. But if anything, I fell in love with the nonlinear periodization training over a week rather than a week-by-week basis where you just alternate every other week. So with that in mind, with this approach, I am actually doing a legs push-pull scheme, but a different type of legs push-pull scheme. So I'm going to talk about it real quick. So this is how I'm doing it. So legs push-pull, rest. All right, okay, let me do it again. That was too fast. So legs push-pull, rest. So I'm doing legs push-pull times 2 with 1 day's rest. So I'm working out 6 days consecutively instead of doing a legs push-pull rest repeat, because I like to have my Mondays like the same. Like if Monday was supposed to be legs, well, guess what? Next week's Monday is supposed to be legs, because last week's Monday was legs, and the last week before that was legs as well. I don't want it to alternate itself between every other day, because I don't know, my mind doesn't work that way. I'm more mindful of a 7-day week rather than an even amount of day block period. So that's why I decided to do this scheme and kind of just work with it, see how it goes right now. Because for one, I do love to do a lot of volume, and I think this is going to help now, especially since I could start working on the big main 3 lifts individually, on each of these days. So leg days will have squats, bench days, or pull day or push days will have bench press, and pull days will have deadlifts, conventional deadlifts, So I get to work on those individually. But that also becomes the problem as well, that even though I'm, getting a big amount of volume throughout the week now, there could be a chance where I can get burned out simply because I am working out 6 days a week consecutively. So I got to be really mindful of that. So this legs push-pull scheme, this is plan A. Plan B would be to just go back to fat, because I'm pretty adjusted to that. The only thing that I would really be adjusting to is, well, the diet, which I'll talk about right now. So my diet approach is pretty simple. Track macros, flexible dieting, IFYM, pretty simple. I'm not going to explain much into it, but if anything, I think just tracking macros, like you really start to be accountable for what you eat or the particular foods of what you eat, and it's also becomes problematic when the numbers really start to get specific. But that's why I like to do the flexible dieting range thing, where instead of like hitting a certain number, just hit a particular range. So instead of hitting like say 165 grams of protein, instead of hitting 165 exactly, I'd hit in between say 160 and 170, so somewhere around there. So that way, because that number's not going to be static, especially if I eat different foods, because at some point you're going to get sick of foods. Unless it's a burrito. I can't get sick of burritos, but when you start eating a particular food, for a long period of time, you're going to get sick of it. That's all I got to talk about for now. This is just the intro vlog, so obviously there's more to come as the weeks go on. I want to try and upload more videos throughout the week. Maybe like go back to a two video a week type scheme where, you know, I'll have something like a video like this where I can sit down and talk about my plans for a week, and then I'll have all the junk stuff, you know, playing on my DS, you know, playing on my DS. Hey guys, just guess what? I just killed another monster, and you know, this monster that came out ate my face. So I might go back to that, but the 1 week upload things has been kind of easy on me, at least that week, because I don't really work too much. But yeah, I want to try to do more, and we'll kind of see how that works out. But other than that, stay tuned for my contest prep, because this is going to be a fun ride. So follow me, maybe. So you don't have to follow. This vlog stuff for me is just more like a reference, because I'm not really a guy who likes to take pictures, but I like to talk to myself a lot, and you know, talking to a camera is like talking to myself. So yeah, I got a lot to say. Bye bye, peace out, stay tuned.